Hey guys, it's Crystal and welcome back to my channel. Last month was probably the worst reading month for me. I was in such a bad reading slump that I only read one book and did not finish another book. And it's been hard to get out of this slump because the book that got me into the slump was Fourth Wing. And as I explained at the beginning of June when I was talking about the books that I read in May, that book pulled me in. I read that book in a span of a week. I consumed it, I enjoyed it, and like I explained in that video, it was the first time in a long time where I truly enjoyed a book in a long time. Not saying that there aren't books that I don't enjoy now, but that book definitely gave me some nostalgia. I felt like I was reading something that I would read and enjoy in middle school and high school, but it felt more geared towards my age. I am almost 25. That book felt refreshing. So all throughout the month of June, I tried to read different books, but I was just in a horrible slump. So the only book that I managed to read and finish last month was Daughter of the Pirate King. I picked it up. This book has been on my bookshelf since, I want to say right around this time 2 years ago. So I've had this book for a while. Actually, no, 3 years ago, 3 years ago. And so I decided to give it a try. Reason why I decided to give it a try, and this is just my brain and the way it thinks, the way I think, I am currently watching One Piece. And if you anime watchers know, the main character, Luffy, he is on the hunt for the One Piece to become the Pirate King. And so in my head, I was like, all right, Pirate King, this will, I guess, maybe fall under the same realm. Not entirely. It is a young adult book, definitely gearing towards preteen, early teens. So I want to say like 12, 13, and 14-year-olds. This book is for. And our main character, her dad, the Pirate King, sends her on a mission to retrieve a part of a map that he has from a rival pirate, and she is basically sent to be captured and deceive whoever is on that pirate ship. And while there is some romantic tension in there, it wasn't at the forefront of the book, which I guess was kind of what turned me off a little bit, because I am now getting used to reading books that have more romance in them. I do read other books, like still dystopia books, fantasy books, fiction books, whatever kind of books. But I think because this book is geared towards 12, 13, and 14-year-olds, it did not really fully sit with me. Not saying that I didn't enjoy it, it was just too easy to read, and it put me even more of a slump. So if I remember correctly, I rated this book, I think it was like 2.5 stars to a 2-star rating, just because I wasn't the audience for this book. It was an okay read, but I just wasn't the audience for it. So this is the only book that I read last month. And then the book that I didn't finish, the book that I had to put down just because I wasn't really enjoying it all that much. As much as I anticipated it to be a good read, I had to put down this book. It's the first book that I've ever put down, and it's a romance book. Like I was explaining couple minutes ago, I like romance books. I like when the romance is at the forefront of a book. However, this wasn't sitting with me. I wasn't enjoying it. I felt like I was forcing myself to read it. It wasn't a book that I was seeing myself wanting to talk about. And it's kind of sad to say because I was looking forward to reading it. It has Hispanic representation. The main character, she is, if I remember correctly, Puerto Rican descent, and the person who is her co-star is a little bit older, and he is fluent in Spanish. I can't remember exactly where he's from, but I don't know, it had all the ingredients that I like in romance books, but it wasn't sitting. And it was so disappointing because, again, I was really looking forward to reading this book because this is the first book that I would have read with 2 Hispanic leads. And I'm Hispanic. You would think I would gravitate towards this, but I had to DNF it just because I wasn't enjoying it. It wasn't sticking, and I don't know, it was hard for me to pick up every now and then. I felt like I was forcing myself to read it. So this is the book that I had to DNF last month. So the book that I am going to continue reading into July, into this month, is Love Theoretically. I started it a little while after I got it signed by Ali Hazelwood, which I hope you guys all saw the vlog, but there it is. She signed the book and I started reading it, I want to say a couple days after, and since her book tour was in the middle of July, or in the middle of June, and I started it a week later, I wouldn't say this is a June read. This is more towards a July read, just because currently right now I'm only on page 70. I'm a slow reader. So this is going to be a book that I am going to read majority of this month, and I know this book is going to get me out of my reading slump just because Ali Hazelwood's books have always done that for me. I enjoy her writing. I enjoy that she writes in STEM atmosphere and the romance is in there. I'm not a STEM person. I don't really know and understand all the scientific and STEM related stuff that she puts in her books, but I love the romance and I love the academia part just put together. To me, in my head, it's different, it's unique, and it just makes her writing her, and it always gets me out of a reading slump. So I am looking forward to continuing to read this book into the month of July. And just for the sake of it, I don't even know if I'm going to stick to this summer TBR, but it's not very many books. But these are going to be the summer books that I hope that I can read next month and into August. So every summer after, I've heard mixed things about this book, but I want to read it for myself. I want to find out what it's about, and I really like the cover. Yeah, I judge the book by its cover. Don't judge me. So this is going to be one of the books that I will be reading throughout the summer or next month after I finish Love Theoretically. People we meet on vacation. I've heard so much about Emily Henry, and she's been an author that's been on my TBR for a long time. So People We Meet on Vacation, Beach Read, Book Lovers, and Happy Place are all books that have been on my TBR for a little bit, and so I just thought it's about time I give her a try. So this is a book that I hope to read in the coming months. Good Girl Complex. This is another author that I've seen all over my social media pages. She's written, I believe, a sports romance series that I haven't read personally, But I've heard good things about this book, and again, I judged the book by its cover. I like the cover, and just the title seemed intriguing to me, and this is the first book in a series, so this is another one I hope to read these upcoming months. And the last one, the one that's been on my shelf for 3 years as well, The Unhoneymooners. I want to read Kristen Lauren's stuff so much. I see her stuff all over my social media page. I have a good number of her books on my TBR, and every time I go to the bookstore, I just want to pick up another one of her books. But in my head, I'm like, how can I pick up one of her books if I haven't read the book that I currently have on my shelf? So this is another one that I hope to read the upcoming months. I've heard good things about this one as well, so I'm excited to get into this one. And of course, there are a few other books that I didn't show in this video that I hope to read. Most of them are in a series, whether it's the first book in a series or I'm continuing a series. For example, The Inheritance Games, I was hoping to read the second book this month, but because I was in such a reading slump, I didn't dare pick it up. So I hope to finish the Inheritance Game series these upcoming months, and I can get started on a new one. And of course, there are other standalone books that I did not talk about that I hope to read during the summer, but summer is only just a measly short of 3 months. So who knows what I'll read, and stick around so that way you guys can see when I talk about the books that I read, review them, and let you guys know how I like them. With that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Please give it a like, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys are reading this summer, whether you're going to be reading series books or whether you're going to be reading summer type standalone books. Let me know down below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Yes, you guys will see me next week with a brand new video. Bye!